this time, we'll call to order the regular meeting of Plan Commission. This is October 27th, 2025. Kelly, roll please.
Mayor Boyd.
I'm here.
Citizen Member Bush.
Here.
Alderperson Hanson.
Here.
Citizen Member Higgins.
Here.
Citizen Member Raymaker.
Hello?
Wait, is that Mark? Yeah.
Kelly, did you hear me?
I did, yes. Can you hear me?
Thought that was Shane.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. Alderperson P-Rock.
Here.
Citizen Member Schilling.
We'll leave it at that. Citizen Member Raymaker is excused. Thank you. Item 2, approval of the minutes of the September 22nd, 2025 Plan Commission meeting. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Brenda. Discussion or comments? Mark, do you have anything?
No. I vote for approval.
Just a bit outside on that
voting
one.
quite yet.
That said, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 3, public comment on matters not on the agenda. Comments made during the public comment period shall pertain only to matters under the jurisdiction of the Plan Commission. Anyone in person or virtually have any public comment on matters not on the agenda? If so, now is your time. Is everyone here for an item on the agenda, I would assume? Virtual wise, anyone out there have any public comment on matters not on the agenda? This is the second time. For the third and final time, any public comment on matters not on the agenda, now is your time to speak. Let us move on. Item 4, consideration and possible action for a 2-lot certified survey map at 647 Foxview, Parcel WD-76-1. Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. This item in front of you tonight is just like what you mentioned, a 2-lot CSM that is meant to split off an existing lot into 2 pieces, one of which has an existing home on it. Adjacent to the Fox River, you'll see on the map that there is both parcels will have river frontage to them, and that's the intent behind that split. It almost looks like a flag, which typically wouldn't be considered approvable in our ordinance. However, it's a reverse flag where the majority of the frontage actually is on the street with a minor frontage touching the water. So at that point, staff did an evaluation of the CSM, went through a couple of revisions with the surveyor, but at this time are recommending approval subject to the conditions in your staff report.
Thank you. Questions, comments, motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Brenda, seconded by Alderperson P-Rock. Discussion or comments? Seeing there is none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5, consideration and possible action for a 4-lot extraterritorial certified survey map at 2400 French Road in Lawrence, Parcel L-454-3 and L-2078. Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. A separate CSM here for you tonight, a 4-lot CSM, extraterritorial CSM in the town of Lawrence. This one, again, we've seen a couple of these CSMs come in over the past few months in this general vicinity. And so this is adjacent to French Road and adjacent to their existing subdivisions that you see over there. So in this case, the extraterritorial CSM includes 4 lots, which is the maximum allowed by that CSM, but 2 lots don't have planned development on them, one of which has an existing lift station, garage for the town, and then the third one would be proposed for the private expansion of the private baseball impact sports academy that you do see adjacent to the highway. So with that one, staff worked with the surveyor to identify the appropriate requirements and any modifications. But at this time, staff is recommending approval subject to the single condition that is listed in your packet.
Very good. Thank you. Questions, comments, motion?
Move to approve subject to that condition.
I'll second.
Motion by Alderperson Hanson, seconded by Brenda. Discussion or comments? Seems we're all good. That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Did you guys catch that?
Aye.
Very good. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, Consideration and possible action on a major design exception from Zoning Ordinance Section 1422-3D, Table 2-3, related to the maximum building height for an accessory building at 1156 Tanager Trail, Parcel ED-124-I-57. Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. The item in front of you tonight is the design exception. Design exceptions are a element of the code that allows the Plan Commission the ability to meet with applicants or evaluate applications to modifications to the strict standard and strict requirements of our zoning code. Design exceptions are a little bit different from what you would classify from a conditional use, from a rezoning, from a procedural standpoint, and also different from what would be a typically considered variance procedure. So it's sort of in the middle when it comes to the process. And this was a custom tailor-made process that was established for the city and for the Plan Commission to have greater authority and greater autonomy in situations like this. And so in this case, we have a existing structure on the property, existing primary structure, and the applicant came in 2024 to construct a 776 square foot accessory structure. Additional first floor would have been for the garage space, and then additional space for home office or just flexible space above. We're starting to see a few more of these things, and as we look to actually have more from an accessory dwelling unit standpoint in the future, not that this one is, but we may see more of these requests. But this request is sort of an after-the-fact request, because in 2024 it was approved, even though the proposed, approved by staff, even though the proposed height was higher than the maximum allowable by an accessory structure. So in this case, the code allows for 20 feet or the maximum height of the principal building, whichever is less. In this case, the principal building is about 26 feet tall. So in other words, as it was approved by staff, it was right about that 26 foot tall. In this case, that would have had to come for a design exception before they broke ground, but again, it was approved in 2024. So the owner applicant came to us and said, "Hey, my trusses came in a little bit too tall. I want to talk to make sure it's okay." At that point, as it was discussed with myself, we determined that process for a design exception in front of the Plan Commission wasn't discussed at that time. So they're here proactively. I appreciate their response to be proactive in coming to the city with this potential trust situation that kind of identified this. And so they're at this time requesting the design exception for up to that, or as we had it in here, the 26 feet. The applicant is here to talk and answer any questions that you may have. But if you remember the last design exception, staff doesn't provide a recommendation during design exceptions. We just identify the issues. And so with that one, it's up to the Plan Commission and the discussion.
So to clarify again, we did approve back in 2024, correct?
Yeah, the inspection department did approve the accessory structure permit.
Okay, and obviously it would have came to us before that, but it did not. Obviously, we have the applicants here to hear from them if they want to talk. I'm going to make a motion to open the meeting so we can have conversation back and forth. So I'll make a motion to open the meeting.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Brenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Any questions we have, or do you want to hear from the applicant? Alderperson Hanson, you can go ahead, and then we can go from there.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you've had conversations yet with your neighbors and kind of what feedback you've gotten from them so far, because I did drive past. It does seem like the structure is pretty much there. It obviously needs to be filled in and everything. So based on what the neighbors are seeing currently with how the structure looks, have you heard any concerns?
Before you proceed, can you give us your name and address for the record?
Yep. So my name is Brianna Greeton. Address 1156 Tanager Trail, De Pere.
Thank you.
Wisconsin.
Jacob Greeton, 1156 Tanager Trail.
Thank you very much. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Not a specific conversation with them. We did talk with our the neighbors behind us, because they don't have a privacy fence. We did talk to them, and they knew that the building was coming, and they were fine with it. We told them it was going to be tall, but that was the only neighbor that we've specifically said, hey. Our neighbor to the left of us has a privacy fence, but no neighbors have come up to us specifically or said anything, even comments like, oh, that's really tall or anything like that. But this kind of just all snowballed last week. So we didn't really even know what the process was going to look like. The application just got sent to us, so we're kind of learning as we go as well. So no, unfortunately, I have not had any specific conversations, but I have also not received any complaints or anybody making any comments on it.
The neighbor just to the east of you, trying to see what address it is. Technically, it's Turtle Dove Trail. Is there potential for like obstruction of sunlight or anything like that that they could?
Not that would have not been there. I mean, we had a tree there prior to that was taller than it. So nothing that would have been when we took that tree down that would have been any different than what was there already. As you can see, there's a giant tree in our front yard too. That tree is down. I actually sent an updated picture of like what the front of the house looks like. But if you look to the left of the picture that you guys have, you can see one of the trees that we had removed to put the building up once we got approval for it. So nothing in the extent of what probably wasn't already there with A, that tree, but B, I think with a 20-foot building or what the regulation would have been, I don't know that the difference is going to cause that much more or less of an obstruction at that point.
Do you have that updated photo?
You trying to effort that, Dan, or what?
Yeah, I was pulling up Chelsea's project file for it because
I submitted it in the application.
So
I do have it on my phone as well.
I can pull it up. It's
Okay.
going to be in the folder. We, just for everyone's aware, knowing how Wisconsin's building cycle is, we try to get them on the agenda as soon as possible because the structure is obviously open and we're in October. So we didn't want to have it sit for another month while the situation was going on. So while you're talking, I will pull it up and I'll try to throw it up on the screen.
Google's a wonderful thing here too, by the way.
It doesn't show the structure though.
It does not.
No, Google won't show the structure because we just started construction on it last week or a couple
Yeah,
weeks
but it
ago.
can show a
now,
neighboring
this week.
house, so we can kind of see what it looks like. Oh, same thing.
I'm gonna go on.
Sorry, just kind of playing around here a little bit. Mark, do you have any questions or comments? We have the applicant with us right now.
Is this just an acknowledgement of an oversight? Is that really what's being presented here?
It probably is the best way of putting it. Dan, can you speak to that? I think it's the best way to put it. It was approved. Obviously, they're here after the fact, but it was not at their fault. Dan?
Yeah, we're trying to make
Got
sure that all the boxes are checked. One, for our benefit, but also to the applicants, because all of a sudden, if they elect to no longer be in this home and they want to put it out for sale, and all of a sudden they have a non-conforming structure versus an actual conforming structure, it becomes a little bit more of a challenge for a future owner if they wish to make modifications to it. So we're trying to make sure we're checking all the boxes. It just happens to be that this is an after the fact versus a before. So I'll put up.
I mean, it's not like the structure is completely out of the norm of everything we see on Tanager. Height-wise, obviously, it's going to change.
So a quick question about the trusses. So it's a little bit taller than the peak of the main structure currently, but
Correct.
then it's going to be like a ½ inch lower once it's fixed?
No, so, well, I'd have to rework with design and get our trusses re-engineered. So from what I've kind of collected, when our building was, like the lumber package was put together, the trusses were calculated at a 612, like angle or whatever, and they went from outside of building, not outside of eaves. So the trusses are correct, like structurally, but there was a math calculation. So when they went outside of eave, it created a higher peak in the truss. If there was no eaves, that 612 would have put it right at that 26 feet. But because then they went outside the eaves, which, let me see.
This is one from Alderperson Hansen, so thank you for this one. I have one on my phone too, but I can't get it into the network fast enough. So.
And the angle that I have on my phone is over, so you can actually see the peak of our house. That isn't the tallest point of our house.
Yeah, the tallest point somewhere
is over here. And the phone, I can walk around and show you, but I submitted in my application where it's a left. It's not taller than the structure. That's a lower point the peak that you're seeing right there is not the tallest point on my house. It's actually where that tree is on the right. That goes up right there.
There's a little grade to the property that affords them an opportunity to act. The structure itself could be a little taller, but from a perspective, it looks a little, the top of the home, I guess you would say, even though.
Am I able to show you guys that picture?
If you wish, you can send it to my email right away and I will.
Yes,
I'll
I can
pull it up.
do that.
They don't need another driveway, do they? No, it looks like it
No,
extends out. Oh, I can see it on here. It
There's a
extends out.
parkway, so like on where our third stall is, there's a parkway that's right there, so it just goes back.
I can see it, yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. What are we searching for now?
The picture that, it takes that tree out of it, so you can actually see the structure and
you want the
the
tree
peak
down?
of our house.
You want it down?
Okay, what is your email?
D Lynch, so D
One of the trees already.
L I N
That tree is
LIND
S T R O N
STROM
One where the
at
tree is now.
Depeer W I.
Pier, wi.gov.
And I'll throw it up there.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Not much you can do though after the fact.
Yeah, I'm looking at the PDF of the application. It must not have made it through the attachment, so I apologize.
No, and that's okay. So I just went directly across the street instead of like on the angle. I went direct, because if you look, we're on the cul-de-sac, like at an angle there. So I went directly to the face of the front of our building. And you can see the corner of our highest peak better.
It's still waiting for it.
Other questions or comments? Alderperson Hanson.
Yeah, Dan, do you know of other examples in the city where an accessory building is roughly the same height as the main house?
Yeah, so you're going to see this more actually in the older parts of the community where we had carriage homes, where we had other components that were like that, where we had a two-stall detached garage with a living space above. My recollection, if I'm just kind of pulling one off to the top of my head, is the one on Michigan that was right behind, it was yellow, but now it's blue, right behind Shopko. It has a carriage house with like a wood workshop above it that is roughly, I won't say the exact height, but it's definitely higher than 20 feet. So there are older examples in the community that do have it. And again, it was primarily when there was a workshop or a carriage home or something above it.
Mm-hmm. And are you familiar with any other examples where it kind of towers over the main garage?
Well, I wouldn't say, while that may be the case here, it's just the position of the house. If you flip the house 180 degrees the other way, it wouldn't be towering over the garage because the garage would be on the other side. It would be right next to the home. Mm-hmm. So in this case, while it is adjacent to the garage, we look at the overall height of whatever the structure is, because whatever the footprint is the footprint. Just happens to be that it's in front of the garage here at this point. Still don't have it.
Yeah, it's spinning. The internet is, I don't have it. Is there Wi-Fi? Otherwise
There is a public Wi-Fi if you want.
Again, Mark, if you have anything, just jump in at any time. Feel free.
Well, I guess, from my standpoint, I mean, this makes, I think, sense with what we're doing, but I just want to make sure, and I think Jonathan's kind of touching on it too. We don't want to set precedent here with this exception.
Yep, totally understand. And again, I understand all of this. However, they were approved and told to go ahead. So this changes the whole dynamic. It's completely different than saying you don't want to have a precedent when they really did nothing wrong. So that's why we're kind of in strange territory. And there are, I think, 3 options we have. Dan?
Well, I also want to just make mention that in your staff report, there's 3 criteria that have to be met in order for the Plan Commission to approve it, and it's in line with the comprehensive plan, not impacting the neighbors, and it follows the process, I guess you'd say. Design exceptions are granted so that there is technically no precedent. You as a Plan Commission can act on each one individually, and that's the whole intent behind it, so that we're not, while somebody may come in and say, well, they did it, every situation is unique, and that's the sort of the purpose behind a design exception. The purpose of keeping hard, rigid to the code is for those parameters, I guess you would say, that precedent. And so I refer you back to prior to when we had this code, when it was just at the Plan Commission level, that there was changes on site plans for landscaping, changes on site plan for building materials. The Plan Commission sort of deviated all over the board when it came to those items. This process standardizes that process and gives you at least the tools to say, we believe it still meets these 3 criteria, and we approve it, this application based off of these items.
Thank you. And don't panic if you
Yeah,
can't.
thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Please don't. I mean, we can, you've told us.
It doesn't give an accurate
Yeah, I feel like
representation of,
it's
had they went in the middle of the street and took a forward-facing picture, you could see that it's substantially taller.
this your
That's
fault?
behind that tree.
Yeah, you can see here's the height
see
right,
this
here's the height right here. You can see the top of the roof and the light shining through.
Can we see theirs? on their
This
phone?
is the top right here, if you can see my mouse.
I mean,
Yeah.
do you have it on your phone right there?
I do.
Well, just, do you mind? Yeah, this might just be a tad easier.
It's gonna come in like 2 minutes.
Bring it, this
probably.
is an email, the second email I tried to send. Let me grab it back in my photos so I can actually show you guys. So like, you're welcome to, if you want to, it's not going to spin, but if you want to zoom in.
Okay, there's.
But I just went straight back
Kevin, look
instead
at
of
that.
like from the left or the right. And that's the truss height with the miscalculation on the trusses. So it wouldn't get any, I mean, if it's approved to continue
that was
as
right there.
is right now with the trusses being set, it's not getting any taller than that. It looks that way
What'd you
already
do?
with that miscalculation or that
God.
construction
Wait.
error.
She broke your phone,
I was just trying to touch. I was
no,
just trying
it's
to make
okay.
it
You're
bigger.
totally
I
fine.
went-
so we own
You're
your
good.
phone
Thank
now
you.
too.
There.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then,
Oh, she
Did
broke
I do it now?
Yeah, that's on you.
there you are.
Thank you.
you.
One touch at a time, right?
Is that a spider web?
Yeah.
Okay, that's very helpful.
Yes, because that's, yeah.
Plus, it kind of gives you more of the angle that you would see, and all of our stuff isn't parked in
That's,
the.
Thank you.
thank
Yes.
you.
Thanks.
Yep.
All right, other questions, comments?
I just got one more.
Alderperson Hanson.
Question for Dan. Talks about the requested design exception will not result in any adverse impacts on other properties in the area. In the past, has kind of like the aesthetics or the residential look of the neighborhood, has that risen to the level as an adverse impact, or is that more like concrete to like impacting neighboring properties, use or something?
Yeah, so in this case, you're documenting whether or not you feel as a plan commission that the information provided says you have enough information to agree whether or not it's from an aesthetic standpoint, whether or not you agree it's from a setback standpoint, whether or not you agree from an impervious surface standpoint. It doesn't deviate far enough that it's going to cause those negative impacts. And so if you have a comfort level to say, while it is large, it does exceed those requirements, I don't believe it will have that negative or those adverse impacts. Again, that is up to the discretion of the Plan Commission.
Good. Mark, while we're in open session, do you have any other questions before we go back to regular session?
No, I'm good to go.
Thank you. Anything else you want to add while we're still in open session? Because we're going to go back to regular session and make a decision.
I guess if we need to leave the trusses or.
Yeah, I guess the only clarifying point is we'd want to know if we can continue with the height, with the miscalculated trusses, or if we're going to have to figure that step out as well.
Well, just ask a very general question. I assume that would come at a cost, correct?
Correct. We'd have to re-rent a lift. Our framer would have to take all of those down. Then I'd have to work with the lumber yard to get all of those trusses regenerated, which I'm not sure what the lead time right now is on trusses. Then we would have to get those back, get the lift there again to put the new trusses on. Just a little bit of a process, but definitely something that
You would rather avoid.
if we can. I mean, if we're considering the 26 feet, just to weigh the option of if this is okay as well as
So
it
this
stands.
will come at a cost.
Correct, yes.
Thank you. Other questions or comments? Alderperson Hanson.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for being open about this, bringing it forward, and I do apologize about the oversight on the city's part. So,
Well, we appreciate the steps and the forwardness as we've kind of navigated this as well, so.
Very good, thank you. I'll make a motion then to go back to regular session.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Brenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Or Dan.
Aye.
Yeah. Oh, I was just waiting after.
Opposed? Motion carries, thank you. Dan?
Yeah, so if you do elect to move forward with an approval here, I would just request that in the condition that it's specifically stated to either the 26 or 27, because the packet that we have here is for 26 feet. If you wish to go to that 27 for their, as they have requested here, just please make sure that's a condition, because then the actual building permit application will have to be modified with new drawings so that they reflect what was actually constructed.
27 you want in.
I think it's actually 27.3 if we're going to get
Yes.
down to the
Yeah.
exact inches.
So
So I
we-
just want to make sure.
resubmitted based off of what is almost like an as-built, because right now the files that we would have on file from a permit would not be accurate then at that point. So we would just request that there, as a condition of approval, that new plans be submitted based off of actual construction versus what was planned.
Under
So
1 foot taller.
All right.
it's up to you, however you want. Like I said, wherever you go, I will just sort of, if you do go to that 27, please make sure that they resubmit plans.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve the design exception at the design, at the plans that will be presented. Do I say 27.3? So it gets in there at 27 feet 3 inches. Would that do it then?
I would say yes. That
Thank
would be
you.
enough to give me enough to require
Yep.
new plans.
I'll second that.
Motion by me, seconded by Brenda. Discussion, comments. Again, Alderperson Hanson hit it. There are apologies kind of both ways here, and it looks like you would have probably worked the right way and done it the correct way. So that's part of the reason I'll go in this direction. Alderperson Hanson.
So, Dan, the height of the house is 26.5 feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we approve this, it would be about 1.25 feet above the.
Now, again, looking at the elevation of the home compared to where that starts, we just look at where first floor starts versus roof starts. As it sits on the property, it may be different. So we just look at it from that base elevation to that roof peak. So just FYI.
I'm going to allow you to
little-
say something. Go ahead.
It's a little less than a foot because it's 26.3 to 20, or 26.6 to 27.3. So it's actually only 9 inches
9
above
inches.
structure.
okay.
Yes, it's under.
I'm thoroughly confused again.
Thank you for the correction.
It's in here.
Thank you. Other questions, comments? Alderperson Hanson, did that address your concern that you just asked a question about? Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Mark, anything else out there? We do have a motion and a second on the floor.
No further comments.
Thank you. That said, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So are they done with us? The rest is with you moving forward, correct? Okay, not council anymore or anyone else? Okay, so you're done here.
Yeah.
Again, thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
You as
you.
well. All right, everybody. What are we on here? 7?
Yeah.
Item 7, consideration and possible action for a zoning map amendment from O Office District to RM2 Multi-Unit 7+ Units District at 1100 Employers Boulevard, Parcel WD-D0031-1. Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. Item in front of you tonight is sort of a next step in a process that we've seen for a construction and development of a multifamily project. In this case, this is the rezoning to establish a new zoning district from what was previously the office district to a residential or RM2 district, or 7+ units per building component. This project started, I guess you would say, as part of the transition from the Humana campus ownership back in 2021 to the creation of the bungalows, the single family that you're seeing. And over the past few months, you may have seen some stuff come through some other agendas, including here at Plan Commission for a CSM. For a total of 8 buildings, 8 42-unit buildings multifamily project. As I mentioned, this is needed for the first phase to get started as per a development agreement with the city. So staff evaluated the request and worked through the mapping requirements and components. A representative for the applicant is online here tonight and can answer any questions that you may have. But with that, with it following the comprehensive plan, with following the development agreement, staff is recommending approval of the rezoning request.
Thank you. Let's keep this train on the track. I'll make a motion to approve the zoning map amendment.
Nice. Second.
Motion by me, second by Alderperson P-Rock. Any questions, comments? Again, developers out there, if you have anything, we've been hearing about this for a little bit. Mark, do you have anything?
No.
Thank you. Dan, any addition?
Nope. If you do move forward for approval, it would be on November 18th council meeting.
All right. Again, this will be on the November 18th council meeting. Thank you very much. That said, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thanks to the developer for showing up. Item 8, consideration and possible action for the annexation of Lawrence Parcel L-481. Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. This is the annexation request that is originating by the city of De Pere. And so you see that there's two annexations here. Just happens to be that we're working through this one and we received the one that will come up at the next agenda last week. And so we're putting them on the same agenda. This is the city-owned parcel that we acquired from the Tura family back in 2023. And we're working through concept plans and revisions with our contracted engineer and with our engineering division for a mixed density residential neighborhood, as well as an extension of our business park. So, but the first step of that one, after we've done those components, is to bring it into the city. This is an area that was identified in our boundary agreement with the town of Lawrence to be acceptable to be coming in without the town challenging that annexation. So the majority of it, there is some piece that was left over and retained by one of the family members. But in general, this complies with the boundary agreement. And I believe I have that in the packet in front of you here. So from the packet is from the First Amendment of the boundary agreement between the city of De Pere and the town of Lawrence. The area in gray is what you're seeing here, and then part of the border is the town shall not contest any annexation for that 80 acres. We're a little bit less than that because of the lands that were retained by one of the family members. So with that, staff is recommending approval of the annexation request to pull this approximately 75 acres into the city of De Pere.
Thank you. Again, this is very, very good news. Questions, comments? Alderperson Hanson.
Yeah, Dan, in the southwest corner, it's a little jagged. Is that area already developed with like subdivision, residential development? Or I'm just wondering why that wasn't part of the original agreement.
Because one of the family members still lives in a home that's there. There's also a cell tower that has been notched out that we didn't want to purchase the land that the cell tower sits on, and so that's the reason why that sits that way, is that was just retained by one of the family members.
And then can you kind of show where access to the subdivision from Lawrence Drive might come through?
Yeah, so here's another component is once this comes into the city here at this point, staff is preparing an RFP for development. We've done a concept plan for this one, but we're not going to be the master developers on it. We wanted to make sure this site was developable. It's a very flat site, and so doing a lot of the background research hopefully makes it a lot easier on a future developer to come in. So while I say there would be an access point off Lawrence Drive or an access point off of American, it may change, and just because of how it tweaks. Now, we've done, like I said, a very extensive work to look at it because it is a very flat site, and getting stormwater to flow on a flat site becomes a challenge, and so we've worked through that. So when you look at it, you potentially would see one access point off of Lawrence, American Boulevard would extend, and potentially two access points off of American Boulevard, depending on where they align. Now, in addition to that, when there are properties that are adjacent to this that are in the town, that landowner representative / developer is looking forward to this project to happening because half the road would be in the town, half the road would be in the city. So they're looking at that. But again, any future development would come through an RFP, and that again could change. We have presented a concept plan at Plan Commission before. We've presented that concept plan at Board of Public Works when we were talking also about the yard waste site on the west side. So you've seen that concept plan in a couple different situations, but again, that's just the base that we started with.
So the access point from Lawrence Drive would have to come through the annexed land into the city. It couldn't come through the town's land that they retain?
It's not, well, again, that's not part of our jurisdiction. That's in the town lands. Now, in our concept plan, we did place and show them that you may want to reserve future road right of way, because if you look where that road aligns on the very southern side where we're showing a road, again, a developer may change that, it would align directly with a road that potentially could access. We're recommending that they preserve that ability, and I think the landowners are receptive of it, as well as the town. Okay. It makes sense to have an additional access point out if possible.
And then you mentioned in here the vision for this is a mix of residential uses, including duplexes, multifamily. Is that similar to kind of what we've discussed previously with the concept of possibly even having like alleys and really dense development?
Yeah, I mean, in the neighborhood to the north that you see, Garrity's Glen South, there are multifamily, there are duplexes, there are some narrow lot subdivisions. So we're already doing it. The difference is that one doesn't have alleys, doesn't have quite as many multi-use pathways. Our concept plan that we've prepared does have alleys, and we've done it in a way that removes all infrastructure inside of that alley. So again, alleys become a challenge in this region because of infrastructure after the fact having to be maintained and repaired. We're showing it where it's just be pretty much a rolled curb that directs stormwater. We're not putting any other infrastructure in the alley to make it the most efficient use of an alley space. But with the alley comes narrower lots. You don't have to have a two-car garage next to a home that takes up an 80-foot wide lot or 75-foot wide lot. You can get down to the traditional neighborhood development that you see outside of our door here with a 55, 45, 60-foot wide lot here. You can get that same thing that we did for years, that as land becomes more and more expensive, the less dense you make it, the more cost per lot it is to help, which will help, which contributes to an expensive single-family first starter home.
What's old is new again.
What's old is new again. Well done.
Forever ancient, forever new.
Yeah.
No between.
You looked at me when you said that, by the way, too.
No, not intentionally.
I was taken on that one. Holy cow. Garriman and Lawrence on that corner up there, that's kind of that site where we're still trying to...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Different topic. I'm not going to...
No, there's no... I don't intend you to. That's fine. Mark, do you have any questions?
No, this is a strategic proposal, so glad to see it.
Yes. Mark, you know what? Why don't you make a motion?
I'll make a motion for approval.
Attaboy.
I'll second.
Motion by Mark, seconded
Subject
by...
to the three...
Subject to the three conditions?
yes.
I don't know if they're conditions, they're recommendations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or recommendations, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
these recommendations, if you would like to move it forward, the first two would ultimately be put into the ordinance that the council adopts for the annexation, which establishes that it's in line with the comprehensive plan, our ability to provide services, and we're establishing a zoning district at the time. So that would be all included inside of that ordinance.
Very good. Is that good then, Mark?
Yes, thanks for that clarification.
All right. Brenda, you're good with that too? All right. Any additional questions or comments? That said, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, consideration and possible action for the annexation of Rockland parcels R29-1, R39, R110, and R114. Annexation once again. Dan?
All right, thank you. This item is, as we move to the other side of the river, we're looking at our southeasternly quarter of the community. And so this is in an area that is adjacent to the Ryan Road, I guess you say the Ryan Road development area. There's a couple different subdivision names there. And also north of our city island, our city park island. And so in this case, you're looking at an annexation that includes two sets of property owners, I guess you would say, with multiple electors on one of them, and a single property owner that owns the three largest parcels. And so if you follow my mouse here, there's a single property owner here with multiple electors on it that have signed the application, as well as the majority of this one, which is owned by Redu Homes. And so they have requested annexation into the city to, again, allow for future development at some point in the future. So staff took this application in, making sure that we're checking off all the boxes to follow the process. As we go through it, in your packet, you'll see that there's the recommendations and evaluations section that identifies how services and how it would impact our services, where services are currently now and where services potentially could come from in the future. So if there are any questions on it, I can respond to it, but as we move forward, staff would be recommending approval of this same same set of conditions where we would be annexing a certain area, establishing a zoning district, and noting that as we move things forward, there may be changes to those zoning districts, but at this point, we would be bringing it in as an agricultural district.
Dan, for folks at home, can you just briefly explain like the annexation process? How does a person go about doing that? You know, it's not like the city goes out there and says, hey, we want this land. Because they're seeing this twice back to back.
Yeah, so, and they are definitely two different ways of doing annexations. And actually, there are more than just the two different ways. There are a multitude of ways that annexation happens, and they have all separate rules. So it's very fun for staff to try to figure out which rules that we're following. So in this case, it's called a petitioner-driven or a unanimous annexation application. In this case, what that means is all of the applicants who are inside of the annexation area have all agreed to annex. There's a non-unanimous annexation process, which includes if somebody may object to it, but they're being brought in, requires a referendum vote by those electors and a variety of other mechanisms and component. But in this case, this is a petitioner-driven application that is being brought forth by the applicant, submitted by the applicant. They submit the application to the DOA as well. They initiate that process, and we respond and go through our standard process that follows it. So what that standard process for us means is evaluation by the Plan Commission, establishing if it moves forward from the Plan Commission, bringing it forward to the Common Council for an ordinance approval process, and then we go through, in between that time frame, as the state has received it, the state will then prepare its own evaluation of making sure that it meets certain requirements. And similar to when we had the Becker annexation, they responded back with some comments and some suggestions. They are suggestions from the state at this point. They aren't requirements from the state, but they are highly looked at to either to make modifications or to see if they do comply. So with that one, there's multiple steps in the process, but in this case, it is a developer property owner driven petition application.
Very good, thank you. I think it's important for people to hear that so we understand how this kind of plays out. Questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Alderperson Hanson, seconded by Brenda. Additional discussion or comments?
Subject to the three recommendations, or along the lines of it.
Very good, good. Thank you.
Yes.
Additional questions, comments? Alderperson Hanson.
Yeah, Dan, can you explain how that island parcel further south was annexed into the city originally, given that it's not contiguous?
So there are powers afforded to the city that if you acquire lands outside of your boundaries, and provided that it's within the same county, that you can bring it into your city boundary through an annexation process. It cannot be improved at that point. It can only be used as a transfer or as a pedestrian park, some sort of amenity that maintains it that way until such time as it becomes contiguous with your municipal boundary.
And it is now then,
Yes.
obviously.
In this case, if it moves forward and be approved, it would be then contiguous to the city. And that lot in itself is a much challenging lot because about 3/4 of it is inaccessible without having to go through some major ravines and some other components. But maybe there's access to the rear of it, but until we get to that process, you never know. It's hard to say.
And that's been talked about as a possible future park, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's parkland now, technically.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
A very challenging
Yes.
parkland, as we keep stating. Other questions or comments? All right, that said, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 10, consideration and possible action for October 2025 amendments to Municipal Code Chapter 14 Zoning Ordinance. Dan?
Thank you, Mayor. This item is a kind of follow-up to our last month conversation about the amendments around the community living arrangements as a kind of refresher to it. Previously, we only had one line for community living arrangements, and it allowed it to be in a residential district. Well, what that didn't account for is size scale of community living arrangements, including nursing homes or assisted living facilities, continuum care, memory care units. All of a sudden, we were saying, no, that wasn't acceptable to be in a commercial space or in a business park space, but sure, go be in a single family neighborhood and be 60, 70 units. As we looked around at our neighbors, we said, well, that's probably in potential oversight of our code. So we brought it back to you with a potential revision and said, do you want us to bring this back moving forward with the sort of interest of senior living starting to kind of pick back up again? So we did. We brought it back to you at this time. And so you see in the packet, we've broken down the community living arrangements into a 1 to 8, 9 to 15, and kind of 16 plus. And in the chart, it's been identified of kind of where those fall in and what zoning districts those fall into. And so staff is recommending approval of that change. In addition to that one, we also noticed that as prior to our adoption of our zoning code, we added one sort of, I don't want to say 11th hour condition, but it was sort of a result of the Georgia Pacific warehouses requiring dark sky lighting components in our commercial and industrial parks. We also found out that it probably should also include the multifamily because they do submit a lighting or a landscape plan, a site plan, a lighting plan to us. And so that one we felt that there was a void in that case. And so at this time, we also added in the situation that a dark sky compliant lighting also be compliant with multifamily projects. Those are the two changes. We felt those were necessary to kind of bring them now versus a bigger batch next year.
Thank you. Good ideas. Questions, comments? Motion?
Move to approve.
I'll second. Motion by Alderperson Hanson, seconded by me. The amendments to the Municipal Code Chapter 14. Additional comments, questions? That said, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 11, discussion about site plans received since the September 2025 Plan Commission meeting and review the status of recently approved development projects. Dan?
It's up to
I'm here for questions.
Oh. Good for you. Well, let's think of something here, people.
I got something.
Yes, Alderperson Hanson.
One of the projects that was recently completed, the new St. Norbert College Schneider School of Business. I did have an opportunity to tour that recently. I want to congratulate St. Norbert College on completing that project. It's a magnificent building, and I also want to thank them for preserving some of the historic elements from the previous Abbott Pennings School, which had been on that site. For instance, there was these reading owl sculptures that were on the exterior of the former building, and those have been incorporated now on the terrace of the new building. So I appreciate them being preservation-minded in that respect. So, well done.
Very good. Thank you. Other questions or comments? Questions, comments on any of these? Well, I'm going to say a big thank you to that one, Dan. Item 12, that said, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Brenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. See you, Mark.